So I've been having problems with my new cheap 1956, I think, Massey Ferguson f40, where my carburetor keeps throwing out fuel and spitting it out no matter how many times I choke it or whatever's going on with it. So I assume the issue is my carb float's stuck, which is, come on, this tractor's ancient and it has been maintained in a long time because the previous owner I got it from for a good price wasn't really a tractor guy. He got it on a trade from another guy, so we got it on a deal here for pretty cheap. So I'm gonna, instead of changing out the float, I'm going to, for now anyway, swap with a cheap Amazon Chinese white box special carburetor, and that should get us running again to run this bush hog and cut our fields. Our first step's gonna be take off all the fuel lines, turn your fuel off. So now our fuel line to the carburetor is taken off. Now we're going to have to move on to popping off these two top bolts here, which since the 1956 are just regular half-inch bolts. We'll pull them off and then we'll resume the video from there. Alrighty, now our bolts are off. Don't lose those, they're important for later. Now we can drop off the carb and pull it out of here and see what exactly we are playing with down in here. Oh yeah, that's an old crusty one, definitely the original. The next step is going to be popping off your controls, so your throttle and your choke. Now the carburetor can work on it. The choke's the easiest little hook, just push it forward and take it off, but your throttle is going to be a little cotter pin holding on to that carburetor. You don't want to break it, you got to keep it because it's a very important piece. So you're going to use some needle nose pliers and very, very gingerly pinch that little flange on it and pop her out. And it should just pop this whole carburetor right out of there and you'll be ready for next steps. Alright, now we got it out. It was a bit of a fight getting off that hook with the pin in it, but we got it. This, yeah, is most likely the original from 1956. It looks like actually it's a late 55 model, which would line up to be an old Ferguson f40, new off the line. That's pretty cool. Next we're going to be getting the new one down and prepped and throwing it on. Mine's already pretty much prepped, so I'll be throwing it on in a minute. All we got to do for this one really to make it ready is put the two start bolts in here to get up into our front cylinder here, and install the fuel line off the old one. It's right here. 7/16 wrench on this tractor. It was definitely swapped over the time, but it's fine. It'll still work. And if you're wondering why my hands are so clean, it's just on my little tool cart here, I always carry this knockoff Gojo from Harbor Freight Goop. All the tools I carry on this little wagon are all Harbor Freight, just to show all you new guys out there, it's not a big deal. You can easily get this thing rocking and rolling with cheap tools, cheap parts, and a little bit of determination. It's not about know-how, it's just determination. And if you watch some videos like mine or others on the internet, they'll show you how to get it going on. It's not that bad, it's not that hard, and you'll have a good tractor like this running, rocking and rolling for pretty cheap. To continue the process, just do the reverse we did to get it off of there. So put back in that pin on the throttle one, and just put that little hook on the choke one, which is down here. And y'all should be good to go. So now both of my controls are back on, the choke's down here, hooked up, throttle's up there, pinned in, no big deal. Now you gotta put the gasket on and shove it up in there where it belongs, up on the intake manifold. And y'all should be ready to hook your fuel lines, which is also very quick and easy, I promise you. Keep going, you're doing a good job, I promise. Our gas is right here hanging on there. We're going to slide the bolts up in there. Put a bolt entrance to the top just because it makes it easier for me on this one. But normally they'll go into here with a little stud. And you put the bolt on top of that. It's a 1/2 inch nut. Easy enough. It should slide right up in there. Take you about maybe 3-4 minutes. If you're bad at it, about 10 minutes. Either way, you'll have some beers, have some squares. Keep working. Alright, now the carb is hanging on loosely by the nuts. So what you want to do is get your 1/2 inch wrench out and adjust one nut at a time, tightening slowly. Do like maybe a quarter or a full turn on it at a time. I'd say a quarter. Do a quarter and a quarter and a quarter and a quarter until it is, see, 1/4 on that one, then 1/4 on this one, and I'll keep doing the same thing so it evenly snugs up to it so you got no leaks, you don't warp anything on this cheap Chinese knockoff carburetor or your regular carburetor whatever you use for it. Doesn't matter to me, but whatever you use, you don't want to warp it. So evenly, quarter, 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 till it's tight, hand tight, no impact, just hand tight, and that's hung. Then we're gonna be doing the fuel lines next. Alright, there we go. We're snugged up evenly on both sides. We should be ready to put fuel lines on. The reason why I keep pausing cutting the video is I'm working by myself on a phone and I can't use both hands and hold phone at the same time. So I keep pausing my video, but I still show what needs to get done. So just work around it, please. I'll work to get better cameras in the future, but for now, I'm just starting this channel out, so we're using phones. But now, we're gonna put this fuel line on. It's easy. It slides on this nipple. You tighten up that little hose clamp right there. Make sure it's tight. Hand tight again, not impact tight. You don't want to break this nipple off. That would be really unfortunate. Alright, see you after your line's on it. Alright, that fuel line's on. Now I'm going to replace any of the fuel lines around the plane that are cracked and dry rotted up. And I'll be back to you guys when it's time to start letting the fuel in and check for leaks. Alright, so your next move is going to be to go over to the pit cock on the other side of the tractor, turn it on, and look for any leaks down your fuel areas. Make sure you got no leaks oozing out. So here we go. Mine's aftermarket. I didn't install it, somebody else did. Little pit cock, open it up, look for any oozing fuel. That's not fuel, that's the grease I sprayed earlier, but I see no leaks here. Give it a few seconds, start working its way down the line to your carb. Now you can watch on this side for any surprises. I don't see any oozing out yet, so I think we're good. We'll know better when we start it up and see how it runs and see if it wants to start having an issue oozing. Alright guys, now it's time for the real test of this thing's leaking. Starting up the tractor and watching it run for a minute, see if it wants to leak out then. Alright, let's verify we got fuel turned on. We do. Climb up on the seat of this thing. Make sure we are in neutrale. We don't want this thing to roll away on us, so let's get her up in neutral. That should be good enough to neutral. And my battery's dead. I'm gonna get a jumper out and jump it off.